So for the past few weeks, I have been playing The Force, probably one of the largest Roblox games right now. And after reaching what I believe is the end game, I want to share my experiment with you. This video will be divided into two main sections, which each of them will contain a smaller topic. So before we start, keep in mind that everything in this video is based on my own experiment and opinion. And at the time of recording, the next major update, including the third island, hasn't been released yet, so depending on when do you watch this, something might look different. One thing I really like the Forge is the weapon system. Most weapons have their own unique design, playstyle, and stat, from the dagger to the heavy sword. The shape and the damage of that weapon depend on the art you gather and the type of the weapon in that category. On top of that, you can enhance that weapon by tracking them with some rune. This basically means that the game encourages you to experiment with the new build. The enemy in this game, they come from different forms with unique animation and attack pattern that make the fight feel more intense. Some enemies are fast, some hit hard, and most of them can cut you off guard if you did not pay attention. People have mixed opinion about this, but I actually enjoy the random spawn system. It forces you to stay alert and aware of your surroundings. Swinging a weapon in the forge just feels great. The animation work, the sound effect, and the music is all come together and making the combat feel more impactful. Whether you're landing a strong hit or just blocking an attack, everything looks very clean. It adds a lot to the atmosphere and it makes a simple act of fighting enemy feel satisfying. So to summarize things, overall the weapon and the enemies are what make the game stand out for me. Crafting gives every weapon its own personality. The enemies are exciting to fight and the sound effect animation work make every battle feel great and rewarding. It creates a feeling that I don't really find anywhere in the mining style game on Roblox. The game have a lot of room to grow, experiment. So I used to the progression slowing down near the end of the game, especially on the platform Roblox. But the Forge pushes it to another level. Once you enter the volcanic cave, the progression becomes notably slower because almost everything depends on volcanic rock. This rock is the key to forging a stronger weapon and armor. It contains one of the most valuable items in the game. And the issue isn't that the resource is rare. The issue is how much time it takes and how much randomness is involved. I'm bringing this up so you can see the time investment. Volcanic rock spawn, I believe, is randomly. I'm not sure about this. And even when it does spawn, mining it takes times. Even with a strong pickaxe and with the potion boost. On top of that, players often using the method where they mine halfway, check the orb, then leave the rock there so that it can reset by itself. This loop repeats until they find the orb that they want. It works sometimes, but it also means that you take around 15 seconds to mining, 20 seconds for waiting, and another 15 seconds for mining. This cycle is almost a full minute per item, and there's no guarantee that you're gonna get anything useful at the end. This is all because of the RNG, random number generated. Almost every core activity in the Forge rely on RNG, mining, forging. RNG isn't ultimately bad, but the problem is the game depends mostly on this system. When the progress depends on rare rock and that one rock depends on spawn timing, and there's a chance that someone gonna steal it, and the art inside depend on luck, and the fortune also depend on luck, it stack up and lead to frustration. Even if you grind for hours, it's not really guaranteed that you gain any progress. One more bad luck and your whole progression is turned into zero again, which lead into some harsh reality, competition and exploiters. Because the volcanic rock is so important and limited, players in the cave often just end up competing, sabotaging each other just to get a hand on the rock. It is common for you to set up a reset loop only for someone to mine the rock anyway before you can return to it. On top of that, the cave attracts exploiters, players using cheat to flying, fighting and mining. It is become impossible to keep up with them the moment they show up. You basically lost the access to the resource that supposed to belong to you. It creates a negative experiment that isn't really a player fault, unless you're one of them, and what I believe is the arena design. So when you're comparing the volcanic cave to the other area in the game, the volcanic cave clearly smaller than every area that you can mention. For an area that holds the most important in-game material, the amount of space and the number of the rock don't feel really balanced. There are other resources in the cave, basal core and basal vein, so it would make sense to make an area bigger and hold more rock. Making the cave larger and increase the volcanic rock spawn chance could help reduce competition, reduce downtime and making the endgame less punishing. Some may say that this makes the rare material like Demon Knight and Dark Knight won't be that hard to find anymore, and I completely disagree with you because both of them have one of the lowest drop rate in the game, so changing the area bigger doesn't affect that much. To summarize things a little bit, I think the game is great, but the late game progression should be improved. The heavy rely on RNG, slow mining cycles, small cave size, and increased competition all combined to make the experiment of the player harder than it needs to be. These issues aren't impossible to fix, and the future update can improving without changing much the identity of the game. The idea here is just based on my experiment and my playtime, but the core problem you will see clearly once you reach the volcanic cave. People keep asking for the server VIP, but it doesn't change the RNG or progression. So undeniably, it is useful for avoiding competition and the exploiter, but it doesn't fix or affect the core issues of the game. So I usually don't talk about this much, but I want to briefly mention the Game Pass. The Force has several of them, as usual, but in the video of the creator, the developer said fortune shouldn't just be a button pressing, but it also feel real, and yet Fast Forward Pass let you skip almost all of the fortune minigame. You could argue that fortune experience is still there, and I understand that, but it also feels like the game trying to admitting that fortune cycle is so bad and it took so long, and instead of fixing the problem they're trying to sell a shortcut. And I get it, the game needs income, but the advantage feels way more bigger than expected, especially for someone who played long enough like me to realize how valuable that game pass is. Sell anyway Beta Forge is also one of the problems that I see. It just feels odd. The Forge is definitely a simulation game, but which is a better visual, a stronger effect, and a better animation with some PvP mechanic mixed in it. It's already a huge success when the death transform the 2D environment from a Flash game into the 3D environment on Roblox, and that alone is very impressive. The game can keep moving forward from this. It has a strong advantage. There is an issue that I just mentioned. They can fix it over time. Right now, the Forge feels like the better version of any kind of simulation game on Roblox.